Hi, everyone. Welcome to our video session today with Kai Madlala. We are going to be solving challenges for him. But before we get started, I'm going to introduce what we do at Impactionable and essentially, what our mission is in the first place. And then let's get started with the presentation. So Impactionable's mission is just to get people started in social impact work. Social impact looks different for each person, whether it's a job, whether you're a social entrepreneur that needs funding, whether you're just looking to help other folks like Kai here today. So people come in different walks in life, and we are here to meet them where they are. So video sessions are a great way to either solve challenges for these entrepreneurs or just hear about their ideas in the space in the first place, so we can just share positivity around the world and get people connected. So I'm going to introduce myself, and then I'm going to ask everyone if they can introduce themselves in 2 sentences or less. Please keep it very short and sweet so we can get to Kai, and then we'll get started. So I'm Shivani. I'm the CEO of Impactionable, based out here in Chicago, Illinois, in the United States. Tobeko, I'm going to ask you to go next.
Oh, hi everyone again. My name is Dobego. I am the founder and executive director of Toby on IT. It's an IT solutions company that basically does IT support, and also we sell fiber connectivity solutions. I am also an employee for a software company that is based here in Cape Town. Thank you. Also, my company is also based here in Cape Town, South Africa. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Charlotte, do you want to go next?
Yeah. Sharat Hidiachi. I work for a company called LMAI. We're based out here in Johannesburg.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'm a civil engineer, and we have a technology company, which I founded a few years ago.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Sindile? I'm sorry, I might be saying this wrong.
Hi, it's Sindile.
Oh.
Hi, everyone. I am a PhD student at the University of Westminster, and I'm doing a study on the green economy of South Africa, of which energy is one of the sectors that I am investigating.
Awesome. Thank you. And I'm very sorry about this. Nduduzo.
Everyday guys, that is another way to say your name, but to make it easier for you, it's Nduduzo, or just keep it simple, Ndu. I'm the founder of Technovators, an IT company based in Durban. We focus on IT solutions, including your web designs, logo, graphics, and everything like that. And I'm also an employee at one of the call centers, where I'm also a senior technician as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Devesh?
Hi.
Yes.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so sorry about that. I'm just traveling. Okay, so I'm Devesh Pansipasad. I am from the Durban University of Technology. I am the electrical engineer at the Energy Technology Station. So I deal mostly with design and installations of solar energy, and also energy efficiency, as well as measurement and verification. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Ashley?
Hi, everybody. I'm Ashley Lafoy. I'm a rapper, writer, and creative project manager. I also run a creative agency where I help link independent creatives to job opportunities, and I'm based in Durban, South Africa.
Thank you. Craig?
Okay, I haven't used this before. Hello, guys. Hello, ladies. I work with Kai, and I head up his networking and development side of his business. And yeah, very interested to hear how it goes. Thanks.
Thank you. And we've got, I'm sorry, NHLANHLA.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nhlanhla. I'm the founder of a social enterprise called Housenomics. We create access to affordable housing using innovative building technology.
Wow, thank you. And then Monli.
Evening, everyone. Yes, so my name is Mondli. I'm a consultant in the IT space based in Devon. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, great. And then Kai, I will introduce you. So today we are going to solve challenges for the founder of Eenergy Efficiency Ltd, Kai Madlala. Kai is an energy efficiency connoisseur with 7 years experience, having worked alongside government municipalities on climate change, adaptation, and mitigation. In 2021, Yale University's the Yale Africa Startup Review named his organization in the top 30 startups in Africa. So let's hear from Kai. We're very excited to hear your presentation, and when you're ready, please do share your screen.
Okay, great. Thank you so much to everyone. Thank you to Impactionate. Thank you to Shivani, and also your whole entire organization with Bori as well. And yeah, so I'm going to share my presentation. And thank you also to the audience there, for everybody that has taken the time to come through and sort of get involved here and listen in. Really appreciate your time. We know how valuable that is. So I'm just gonna start with the presentation. So my name is Nkanyiso Madlala. I'm based out in Durban, South Africa. I'm currently in Johannesburg, but I run a tech startup called Eenergy Efficiency. We started in 2018, in January, 31st of January. And yeah, we've been going at it for 3 years now. And yeah, so I will be sharing a little bit more about like what exactly we're working on, what we've been working on. So can everybody see my screen?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, so as I mentioned, so we run a company called Eenergy Efficiency. It's a green tech startup. We believe in helping everybody connect to the internet, and Google is a platform that we use, which I'll be going into detail about. And one of our mottos is do the hard things first, right? So yeah, so we were wanting to find a solution to some of the problems that we identified and in India. So basically we discovered that some of the biggest problems that we're encountering in Africa is issues like lack of connectivity in the remote and rural areas and in peri-urban areas, and lack of internet connectivity, as well as a very, very limited content. I started in 2014 doing the research, where I discovered that 48 people were murdered in a black township as a result of a lack of actually like lighting specifically. So that's where the challenge or the problem started. The issue was mainly lighting. That's where it started, and obviously gradually grew from then. So now our solution is to use intelligent wireless and green technology to improve people's lives. In other words, giving them an enabling environment to formalize spaces that are basically informal. So basically, our platform, which is called Gugu, helps people to communicate, access information, generate electricity. We allow you to watch locally produced content and video content and audio as well, basically from the comfort of your home. So imagine an environment where, you know, Gugu was everywhere, and this allows also for people to watch internet data with internet content with completely data free. So if we look at just basically one of our go-to-market strategies is, for example, the internet, since as you can see, Africa is quite behind. So we started with phase one, where we installed Google solar powered lights in 2 communities. The population there is about 67,000 combined. Phase 2 was to then obviously lay out the internet, and we then had to bring in fiber into the community, in the one community, and in the other using a television white space as a technology. And currently now we are in phase 3, where we are doing the breakout and connecting the customers. So as Gugu, what does it mean? It basically it's a female girl's name, as a ordinary Zulu girl's name, which means treasure or hope. So all we basically do is we do 3 major things. We connect you to the Wi-Fi, because people aren't connected. We connect it to the television content, which people don't have. And also we connect them to electricity. So yeah, so basically those are the three things that we're mainly focusing on right now. So as you can see on the picture on the right, there is a tower and the satellites, which we are building to deploy, and the contents and also power system that we've developed, which we are commercializing and launching into the communities. So yeah, so this is, for example, one of the communities. I think I saw one of the teachers in the schools here. So just outside the school and in the school, so we've installed these lights here, which we are solar powered lights. And there's Mtoko, one of the NGOs that we're working with. So we meet the climate change SDGs. Currently, we're focusing on these 4 with the lights and education as a 4th one. Yeah, so one of the things that I would like help with is for the audience to help us now in terms of with the connectivity aspect, to help us to basically formulate structuring the pricing model that can be beneficial to the community as well as to the public at large. We have ideas in place, we have implemented, but we would like to know from you guys in terms of like, if you can allow your creative juices to help guide us, you know, in this space. So we do have competitors. So our main competitors are your normal ISPs from fiber to TV white space. So in other words, those are internet companies. And then our other competitors are also your independent power producers. So companies produce their own electricity. And our other competitors also are digital terrestrial companies as well, like your DSTV and those lights. So in terms of our products, as I mentioned, it's those 3, Wi-Fi, TV, and energy. So as you can see here with one of the communities, this is just an ad that we released some time ago to the community. In this particular area, there's about 300 shacks where this device, which is our power device that generates electricity for these kind of environments. We're currently focusing on 20,000 households at the moment, where we're currently launching on 300 households, but the 2 combined areas make up about 20,000 households. So in this particular segment is we want to know how can I market my products through word of mouth without diving into sort of like your 25% marketing budgets, which is what you generally have when you're creating this type of products and these kinds of solutions for the sort of African market. So we do have a team of about, I have a full-time team of about 5, including myself. And then we have also like interns, students, etc. So we have a team of about 9, 11, depending on the cycle. I think at the moment we have about 9. Yeah, so we always work with the universities. We always have students coming in through our through our offices and working with us, and basically, impacting them and training them and helping them to basically understand the work environment. So in this particular part now is from myself as a leader in this startup is how can I live a balanced life where my work pressure doesn't spill over into my work life. And I think that's one of the critical problems in terms of mental health, in terms of the innovation space and entrepreneurial space. Yeah, in terms of corporate partners, we have a very diverse set of corporate partners like the Wise Fund in Silicon Valley, the Technology Innovation Agency in South Africa. As Shivani mentioned earlier, we're part of Yale University in America with Yale Startup Review, where they nominated us as the top 30 startups to watch out for in Africa for 2021, the publication. We work with DUT, the university, different departments. We work with the innovation part and also the green space, Baker Schroeder, CSIR, BECO. We've been with Red Bull. We just started working with YGAP now, South Africa, which is an Australian accelerator. Yeah, so just thank you so much for the opportunity to just present to you guys, ladies and gentlemen. So I'll stop there. So you can find us at google.africa or you can find us at eetech.co. Yeah, so I'll remove the screen and I'll just start the conversation. And if you want me to go back at any time, I'll be able to share and provide some more clarity. Thank you, ladies and gents.
Thank you, Kai. Thank you, Kai. So, let's start with that first question. It was a really informative presentation. So the first question that Kai had for us was, how can I price my products in a way that can help us meet our bottom line while at the same time ensuring that our customers are able to enjoy their experience at an affordable price? So tell us about what strategies you've done so far to understand, you list some of the competitors there are in the market, but can you tell us a little bit more about how you're coming to brainstorming your price point so we might be able to advise on how to move from there?
Okay, that's a very good question. So there are about 50 business models that are out there in the world right now, ranging from straight sales or ranging also from like a Robin Hood models. There's just like a lot of business models out there. But what we focusing on is we believe in capitalism, but we're more focused on conscious capitalism. So we trying to like make our products affordable for the users, for the people, because we're focusing on low end household market, which is quite a significant. It's about 24.3% of the population, which of South Africa, with the population of 59 to 60 million people. In terms of the Wi-Fi, we actually have like priced our Wi-Fi way low. Obviously, for us, we still pay for it, so we trying to price it low, but we don't want to be too low where we don't make a profit. So we kind of be in the sweet spot where the customer can afford, but at the same time, we can still be able to make a profit as well. And I think the same goes also for energy. We know that we have a huge energy crisis with Eskom, our utility company in South Africa, which we know we currently load shedding. We'll be load shedding tomorrow at 10, where I am in Johannesburg, which is like the eco hub of the country. So we focusing on those for now in terms of like how we can be able to price them well. In terms of the television, the pricing has been very, very nominal, which is we're happy with that pricing at this stage. But invariably, we wanna be in that sweet spot where our customers can afford the products, but we want to talk to the public and hear what they think. And in terms of like, or maybe if you guys can guide us in terms of like, how do you come up with your pricing models in your own organizations, or like what advice you can maybe sort of guide us in terms of that from an outside person looking in. That would be very, very interesting. And so, and then the second part that I wanted to mention is with our products, what we naturally started to do was obviously just have with our energy product is we have one price. We figured out that people can't afford it. So we started to introduce a rent to own model. So we've got people signed up for that, where it's a rent to own model, and that kind of works with them. But I just wanted to find out from like the audience in terms of like what strategies they've used that have been successful, and how we can be able to like sort of gain some insight into that.
Thank you, Kai. And yes, please, anyone, if you have, I know we have some entrepreneurs on this call. Is there any experience that you can share in how you came up with the pricing for your own organization that might be able to, provide some advice for Kai?
Kai, how's it? It's Sharad over here.
Mm-hmm.
How are you doing?
Good. Thank you, Sharad.
Okay, so I'm going back about I'm going back about 14 or 15 years, right, to when we started the company, and we had to break into the market and take on the opposition, right? And what we did in our pricing was initially we priced it in a way that it's based on everybody being able to work flat out and grind, right, for a common cause. So we looked initially at just covering our basic costs and to cover our basic salaries, right? That's what we did. And we kept it very specifically to a, we didn't go very wide. We kept it in a very narrow band until we built ourselves up and we were strong enough to break out of that, that criteria, right? And then we went to the big hitters, the big companies, and we started taking them on. So initially what we had to do was build strength, and you had to do it like really quietly, and you had to do it in a confined space. And that's how we started off. And I think you're in a very similar position. You in the space you're playing at, you got to keep the costs really low and affordable, because that's what you're targeting. And initially, you got to just cover your basic costs. Right? So if I was to you got to play on the fringe between your middle income and your lower income. And you rely on your middle income areas to carry you through. And you use the proceeds of that to fund it in your lower income areas. And when you look at your mainstream competition that you're going up against, your pricing will be significantly more cost effective than what they can provide currently to their current clientele. Did I say too much or did I break off?
No, thank you so much.
Right.
That was very informative. Thank you so much, Sharad. Really appreciate that piece of advice. Yeah, we noticed that we're helping the GoGo out there, but at the same time we're helping for example, in one of the communities, we have a GoGo which says she's on pension, she's battling, and then I've got a member of parliament living in the same community, and their income levels are hugely different. So how do you find that sweet spot where everybody can be able to afford it?
Yeah, so you can try that, right? So if I go to what's this area where they have a lot of hunting out in Messina, which is the northern part of South Africa, bordering Zimbabwe. They have a lot of game farms, right? And what they do is they have two prices. They have a South African price, which is in rands, and they have a US dollar-based price for international hunters, right? And then they use the one to offset against the other, and they keep building that way. So if you choose your areas carefully, you can play on the fringe of middle income areas, and they don't need to know your pricing structure. And you use the additional revenue coming out of that to fund your idea in the middle income areas, in the lower income areas. So
yeah, so it's almost like a Robin Hood model.
Yeah. You got to be covert, You can't, because what you're doing is you are going to be in a mainstream space very quickly as you take off, right? And it comes with its whole, you're going to get a lot of competition coming your way, from the established guys, So years ago, well, I spoke to guys that did work with Anglo American and De Beers in particular on the diamond side, and you get a lot of diamond mining companies that came out in South Africa. So, but a lot of them went bust, right? And how they went bust was they took out loans to build mines, right? And what De Beers used to do was they used to flood the market with diamonds and drop the pricing. So when guys used to establish these newfound businesses, inevitably, when the market was flooded with diamonds, they could never, ever pay off their loans and get things going. So I'm just thinking, from what you're going to do, you're going to encounter that very quickly. So if you go very low cost or cost effectively, and you're not making enough money to be sustainable over a period of time or survive over a period of time, you could lose it. So I think you need two strategies. I think one needs to ensure that you're getting a decent revenue base, and the other one, and you use the one to fund the other one, your lower income strategy.
Thank you, Sharad. Yeah, I do want to also give I'm sorry, someone has their hand raised. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Diodone Alo. Hi, Kai. It's very exciting to see you.
Hi, Diodone.
Yeah, you have a very inspiring project, and I'm always impressed by the way you run things and your energy. I think Sharad has said a lot of good things, so many of them, and I just wanted to add my voice to what he has said, and perhaps just suggest one way of doing what he said. maybe you can consider, first of all, I must say I'm not very good at pricing. As you know, I work mostly in the non-profit world. And so perhaps what I'm going to say is more applicable to our world. So what I'm thinking is, if you have just one cost, say one way of pricing, say, let's say 1 unit costs 50 Rand, I don't know how much, for everyone, irrespective of who you are, and then looking into the profile of your clients, then you can say, perhaps some people, if you meet this criteria, you can have an exemption. 50% could be full exemption, but there should be one price that is applicable and not pricing separately. And we know that the price is 100, then maybe if you live below a certain income, you pay 20 or you don't pay anything at all. That's just what I wanted to suggest to you.
Okay, that's actually a good point. So in the early days, right, of MTN, what MTN used to do was they used to give preferential pricing and that to the contract people as opposed to pay as you go. I think now they've evened it out. So my thoughts are you can market it as two separate ideas, but you can give the lower income guys the same services you're giving the more wealthier clientele. Nobody needs to know, eh?
Yeah, no, that's a very good suggestion. Thank you so much, Diogene and Sharad. Really appreciate that.
Tobeko?
Thank you, Shivani, and thank you to the gents also for some, powerful thoughts and ideas behind it. Well, Kai, or Nkanyiso as I call you. So I think I would also, to add to what the gentlemen have stated, is that it's always, when it comes to pricing, it's always easier to play in the space of value as opposed to pricing, because if your target audience in the end are people that are genuinely on the lower sort of income, as you mentioned, the 24% portion of the population that you're hoping to penetrate. So I always I've seen with that sort of population, or sort of that income segment, is that when you play on the value side of things, so meaning you already have the volumes of people, but they need to understand the value of the product that you're offering, so so that they can come in numbers. And what then you leverage on is that their numbers sort of leverage with whatever pricing as low or as marginal as you may put it. But then what you have is you have the quantity making up for the monetary value that you are needing to sort of break even, if that makes sense. Because when you get to a point where a target audience or your end user finds value in your product, then it goes, the whole thing of how much it costs me to actually get that get sort of scraped away from their minds, and they then think, okay, to what extent should I, or rather, what actions can I take in order to make sure that I am part of this, or I am part of this movement that is happening. And then at that sweet spot, then you're able to sort of set that marginal price and working with the quantity to make up for the monetary value at break-even points. I don't know if it makes sense.
No, it does. Thank you so much, Tobeka. That was insightful.
We have time for one more idea before we move to the second question. All right, Kai, let's do a second question. How can I market my product through word of mouth without diving deep into marketing budget? So I think this actually relates very well to the first point. You know, if you're trying to get, if you're trying to market through word of mouth, this is a very grassroots level, and you know, this is a way that you would be able to market it towards households rather than businesses or larger municipalities. So yeah, I think the first two questions go hand in hand, and a lot of what Rebecca and even Sharad were saying can, you know, can be answered even in this question. So, does anyone have any initial ideas about marketing his product through word of mouth without paying 25% of your budget in marketing?
Okay, so can I add to this one? Cool. So I have been thinking about this for many years, right? When I started off, and so so I went through a business, and I did fairly well, and then I lost everything, and I had to start off again, right? And so the word of mouth is very powerful, right? So in the communities, I found that you get like naturals in the communities, and they sprinkle around, right? You find them in the churches, in the religious areas, you get them in the schools, and as your principals, you get them in all these sort of ideas, right? And all these areas are interlinked through this network, right? Of religion and sports. So if you can identify all these ringleaders, right? And if you can develop a personal relationship with them or connection, you put your ideas out to them, and you get them to spread it to their teams, because yours is a one-on-one with people's from family people from homes, right? And I think that'll be one of the ways for you to do that. If you can just connect to the right people that know a lot of people, and you share your ideas with them and the benefits of what you are trying to achieve. So amongst the principles and that, you it's education, right? You're trying to promote education. Through religion, you're trying to promote a better life for everyone, a safer life. And I think your religious leaders will buy into it, and I think your educators will buy into it, and they become your best source of marketing. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. One thing that we do at Impactionable, because it's all around community, right? So it's all about grassroots. So we have a couple of marketing strategies that we do. Number
Yes.
one, email newsletters. It's about sustaining the existing community members and notifying them of your updates on a regular. We do it every week to week basis is a great way of retaining those initial users. Number two is identifying the top 5 people who are so committed to your product that they are more likely to refer your product or your idea to other family and friends and family, and they are naturally incentivized to do it. So some people incentivize it through giving them discounts or giving them prizes or giving them t-shirts or merch. For us, it's about you know, giving them access to our services for free, or it's even just about building that relationship on a friendship level, so it's a natural relationship that they want to carry forward in their own network. Number 3 is grassroots social media. So one big thing is we have a private Facebook group and we have a public Facebook page. So the page is used for advertising and, you know, just our updates there. But the group is where the true discussion, the conversations take place, where anyone can share resources within the social impact space and they're accountable to do so. So what happens in the private page is that, number one, their information isn't really shared in a public setting. You know, it's a private page. Number two, there's this idea of exclusivity. Oh, you know, they were approved to be in this page, so they have a higher standard to uphold. and they are in the in crowd. So it's like an exclusive membership, even though it's free for anyone to join and we don't turn anyone away. And this way, more people invite other people to be a part of the Facebook page, a Facebook group, and it's like everyone wants the invite to say. And essentially, I think for you, when it comes to marketing in particular, there's some really cool, like you can have your community members take a picture of them with the solar panels, with your products, and be like, hey, I got this. This is a great product, and this is essentially, you know, they can share it to their friends and family and their social media. You can really create a community around this. Oh, look, I have access to this, this, and this because of what Kai and his team have produced. So it's like you can touch people's lives and you can share. Like it's all about the heart with this work, right? So these are some of the strategies that we use, but you know, to each their own.
Yeah, maybe Craig, you wanna come in? I see your face there. Yeah, maybe you wanna come in. But before he does, or before whoever comes in, like, yeah, so we currently actually use the same model. Like for example, in Umlazi, in the community of Umlazi, which has a population of about 400,000 people, that's where we initially going to do our pilots, and we said no, let's start in a smaller community. So we started in Meron Ridge, which has 5,000 people, and then Mpumalanga, which has a population of about 62,000. So that's the combined population. Inanda was another area that we had considered. We had started there, but decided because it's just sheer too many people. There's like 148,000 people. So we in Umlazi, we had signed, we had already developed a relationship. Over a year we were there. We developed a relationship with over 30 different NGOs, which have their own sites, which each had about 1,000 people. In Meron Ridge, we got there through the churches. So we developed a relationship with the pastors, with the NGOs, MCC. We developed a relationship with the NGOs there, like that man I was showing you earlier on in Togo from the NGO called Imbizo. And I see that also Tandiwe Kwala, one of the teachers, we developed with the schools. We actually donated our lights as a second strategy. We donated our lights to the school. There's one of the teachers here. We donated it to the community. We donated it to public spaces, public parks, and we really made them custodians. We actually did a full handover, and we've seen a huge difference to how the government does it. Normally, if the government will install these types of green technologies, within a few months, within 6 months to 7 months, they are stolen and they're sold for next to nothing. But ours have been existing, they've been there all this time, generating electricity, and there's been no theft, you know. With the schools, we've been busy with the schools, working with about 4,000 kids that we've been working with there with our educational program, which goes into our digital, which is going into our digital television content. We've been working them towards, and this team has been going there, like you know, to the grade 8 and other classes. So in terms of the physical product that develops the electricity, working with the universities, we've been really developing those kind of relationships with the community. We had an incident when we were laying our fiber. Our fiber team, the people that we're installing, were held at gunpoint by the other community members, thinking this was a government project, and they wanted bribes and all these kind of things. We had to actually hire private security to make sure that the fiber was actually installed safely. So, but the initiative on that was taken by the community themselves, who sent people to go and watch out and protect our private security while they were working. So we've developed a really strong relationship with the community from that front. And I'll just pause there for now.
That's fantastic. I mean, the way that the community was able to step up and make sure that the fiber was installed is amazing. Tobeko, I think you were saying something. Sorry to cut you off.
Okay, no, it's cool, Shivani. I think to add to what Kai is saying, and also, you know, as something that I've seen as well, people genuinely identify more with something that they, well, it's easier to identify with people if you are using some structures that are already existing within, I think it's the same thing as Sharaj shared, is that if there's already structures that are already existing within that community and people find value in those structures, and people are able to sort of identify with those structures in a way that speaks to them, when you connect to that ecosystem, as opposed to directly going towards the people and spreading it, but going with the approach of speaking to those key role players within communities, and also those organizations within those communities. I think there's always a greater impact. So my point is just to reiterate, to place greater emphasis, I guess, to what the two gentlemen have shared, that I've seen as well, that if someone comes in with something that and whatever development that they're bringing, but they identify with what we need in that community, and it just shows a bit of understanding and a bit of respect of the work that is already in progress in that particular community.
Absolutely, absolutely. I know, Kai, keep an eye out on the chat as well. I think Monli and Josh both have comments.
Yeah, I want to respond to the first one.
Go ahead.
It was from Josh saying, good evening all. On the contingency front, I would suggest Kai connect with Centec. So Centec is the company that, it's a government it's a state-owned enterprise that owns a lot of the towers. Yes, we've been in contact with them for quite a while now. Yeah, and it's been a back and forth with the board there. We've been in contact with them, and obviously as we grow as a company, we will obviously have to work with them quite closely. At this stage, they are more like a competitor in a sense, and but as we grow, I actually met one of the board members in Silicon Valley, and they arranged the discussions with them. But I think because there's 500 million people that need to be connected in Africa, there's 600 million people that need electricity. Even though we might be a kind of a competitor, I know they were looking for funding, but I don't know if they've actually got the funding. But I think there's enough work for everybody to get everybody busy and try to connect all of these people. So I think those kinds of relationships are strategic. I've also seen that with some of our other competitors, where Facebook, Google, and Microsoft have actually teamed up to work to deliver these projects as well, especially in the more rural areas. So definitely strategic relationships are very important. And then there was mostly word of mouth marketing would be also link up with community churches, leaders, etc., etc. Yeah. So that's basically the approach that we actually took in that sense. I mean, I remember when we were sort of like laying out the fabric, because that took us 6 months. You know, one of the major community leaders and the political leaders as well, they called us into a meeting and said, hey, there's a company we don't know. They are basically potentially wanting to do part of what you are trying to do at the time we were starting out, and we're not happy to work with them. We only want to work with you. And we didn't say anything. We said we don't feel that we need to be loading over people, etc. But I think because of the nature of the relationship, where we've been transparent with the community, where we've been communicating with the community, and they are the ones who have actually gone out and protected our name. So I think that is something that was of benefit. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for responding, Kai. So we're going to move on to the third question. I know that we can speak to great lengths about the first two, but the third question is, how can I live a balanced life where my pressure does not spill over into my role at work? So Kai, tell us right now, what's happening currently, and how you're prioritizing your mental health.
Yeah, so I think mental health is very, very important. And this has been one of the biggest problems that I ignored. Coming from Africa, we don't go for counseling and we don't go for advice from the outside. We just culturally speaking over, decades of like, of
just
our
suffer, man. And we struggle, Kaya. Struggle through life, right? We toughen it out, eh?
Sorry?
So we tough it out, eh?
Yeah, we tough it out, we soldier in, and we take the bullets, and we take it, with in our stride. And
yeah,
and
we do this for hundreds of years, man.
Yeah, and I actually ended up in hospital. Actually, I ended up in hospital at one stage, because a lot of things that I would not voice out, like And so, like, for example, this year alone, I mean, not only is what we're building is like something that's not been done before, industry experts are like, you know, you can't do it like this, you can't do that, and this is impossible. And those are all the barriers that I've had to overcome. Like, barriers have been constantly told that I can't do it. And my pigmentation couldn't get me funding. So I'm not saying that that's what gets you funding, but I had issues with getting funding at any level. You know, it's really, really that difficult. And obviously, you know, focusing more on sort of the ecosystems in Silicon Valley and operating in Africa. And I have met a lot of other entrepreneurs, like guys from Flutterwave, the first African unicorn, hitting $1 billion valuation. I was with them, we were together. They told me, just pack up your bags and do what we did, move to Silicon Valley and you're gonna get funding there. And that's what they did. But I was like, you know, I'm trying to build here, you know? So we're currently at that stage right now, and it's very, very difficult. There's a lot of sleepless nights. There's a lot of, there's been stages of self-medicating to try and sort of cope, and it's been very difficult. Ended up taking a holiday, and that holiday didn't work because I was on holiday, but I was working, I was on the phone the whole time while on holiday, you know, in Cape Town. And currently right now, I'm partly on a holiday actually in Johannesburg. But I'm now starting to obviously like settle down and start to just like, you know, just like focus on sort of the mental health. But I just want to find out from other entrepreneurs. I see Nhlanhla is here. I mean, he's been building Hustlenomics and doing something that's never been done before. We were together at Red Bull. Like, I mean, I don't know what his experiences are, but I think it's the issue of mental health. I actually listened to a talk recently where this woman was saying in a TED talk, saying that sometimes you have to put your purpose on hold to focus on your mental health. Because if you're just focusing purely on your purpose and you neglect your mental health, you can crash. And that's actually what happens with a lot of innovators and entrepreneurs, because they don't understand what we understand and they don't see the vision that we see. So it's almost like we're trying to build something that nobody can see. And a lot of the times we don't get that support. And if we don't focus on the mental health, we can literally crash. So I'll be interested to hear even from Diodene, like these are all entrepreneurs, you know, all of these folks, like I don't know what you guys have done. So if you can give that advice, I appreciate it.
Go ahead, guys. Any thoughts about this? I'm sure we have time.
So can I?
Go ahead, Sharad.
Okay, cool, right? Kanye, so I met Kanye a couple of weeks ago, right? Nkanyiso, and we chatted and we connected. So prior to that, I'll just give you some background. I had a very successful company, and one of my clients went belly up, and they owed us about $20 million, and they left us with a debt of, I don't know, like $8 million, right? So on the one hand, I'm owed a lot of money, and on the other hand, I got to fight off the wolves, right? And it was very stressful for me. It was tremendously just been stressful. Like the anxiety was like on an abnormal level, right? And I came very close to losing everything. My home, you know, you worry about your kids being taken out of schools, and you lose your car, you lose your businesses, you get sequestrated. There's many things that go through your mind, right? So so one of the things I learned to realize is that you know, I read somewhere that you must live in the moment, right? So as entrepreneurs, you can see very far into the future, and you can take that future and bring it right up into your face, right? But what I realized is the future doesn't exist. I just exist in this moment. So right now, even though I can hear my kids and my wife in the next room, they don't exist until I meet them. The only people that exist is, well, the only thing that exists is my study where I am, my laptop on the table, and the conversation with you. The rest does not exist. So whatever danger is coming, that danger has to be in front of you. It has to meet you. If you are not in touch with that danger, it does not exist. The anxiety and the stress you're feeling is literally a figment of your imagination. And they say we suffer more in our minds than we do in reality. So all these try and understand, is the danger like at your doorstep? Or is it far away? If you got a day, you're safe. If you got 2 hours, you're safe. You are only in danger when you are in danger. So this, you know, try and come to terms with that concept. That's a concept I used, right, to deal with my anxiety. The other one is a bit religious. I thought a lot about the crucifixion. the pillory, when Jesus was beaten up and he has to walk with his cross. And it's uphill. I don't know why the Romans, they didn't put it on downhill, or put it on uphill. You go walk uphill, right? People laugh at you and they humble you. Right? And when you're carrying that cross, you are injured, right? You are hurt. You never get to bear your cross at your fittest, at your prime. It's always at a disadvantage. So just know that greater people before us with less have achieved more, right? So you're following in the right footsteps, right? So if you're suffering a bit, it's okay. You're doing okay. Eh? So, so be in the present and know that great things were done by people that struggled more than us with less than what we had. So we can get there if we keep trying, right? The other one about the your family life. In the first part of my career, I had. Thanks. The first part of my career, I carried a lot of the people. This is my son, Shriyan. You want to be seen in Chicago? Shriyan? No, he's run out the room. So I carried a lot of people, right? In this next phase of my life, I realized there's a lot of talent and there's a lot of untapped talent. The top 2% of our population makes up like 4 million people or something like that, or 8 million people, whatever the number is. There's a lot of people. So it's about, it's about 1 million people, sorry. No, not as much as 8 million. But you got a million people that have the right aptitude and incredible intelligence, right? And if you choose correctly, your growth rate and your achievements can go exponential, and you can still have time for your families. Now, if you choose incorrectly, you're going to be working a lot harder. If you don't trust the people you're working with, you're going to have to spend more time making the right decisions. And inevitably, you're going to run out of time in the day, and you're going to be spending less time, and your life will be unbalanced. So choose correctly, choose wisely. And I find that really talented people come 1 in 10, 1 in 20. When you interview them and you choose them, you can never choose 100% correctly. The success rate is like 5%, 10%. The rest of the people are good, but they're not exceptional, or the exceptional talent you want. And you also need to realize that sometimes, as much as we carry team members and we want them to journey along with us, some people will be more successful in a different environment. So, just understand that. Understand also that the potential of the person may not be congruent with their character and their personality. So, decipher correctly. That's what I've learned over the last couple of years. I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, thanks. That's very, very helpful, Sharat.
Thank you. We have time for one more idea, and then we have to.
48 years of suffering.
Does anyone have any thoughts for mental health as an entrepreneur?
If I can just add one more thing. One of my mentors.
I want to make room for one more person, and then I'll connect you two afterwards.
No assholes.
Thank you. Okay.
Well, I just wanted to say that it's a very big topic, and there's so much to say that there's no time. We wouldn't even start. But I would like to take this up with Kai. I have had my own journey and had some ways of navigating through that. Yeah, some similar to what Sharat said, but in a very, it's been quite an experience. And one of the things that I do is also supporting others on this journey.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Kai, one thing for me is, I think it's really important to draw boundaries as an entrepreneur. Really spending an hour or maybe 2 just focusing on your mental health and just stepping away from everything, email, phone, whatever it is, but really make time slots for times that you can work. As an entrepreneur, I know it's a very personal journey, and the professional and personal boundaries can really blur. So it's up to you. You know, you can draw those lines more in stone than in sand, and in times they're more in sand than in stone, and that's when we have to push for deadlines and there's projects and stuff that are going on. But don't feel guilty about doing that with your team, with your business, with your partners, whoever you're working with. But yeah, sometimes it feels like we can't do it, but sometimes we really need to. So I would say drawing boundaries is very important.
Wow, thank you so much. I actually didn't, thank you for all the advice. I really appreciate it. I had no idea about boundaries in business.
Yes.
but that's something I'm gonna do a lot of research on. And thank you, Sharad, that idea of, I remember when I worked in Turkey a few years ago, I remember I had a friend from Cameroon, and he used to say it as a joke. He'd be like, don't think out there, think around you. You know, that was what he used to say all the time. And I've better to understand what he meant by that. But basically I was saying, try to be in the moment and not try to fix things that are out there, like right now. So thank you so much for that. And yeah, and we'll touch base with, you know, any other folks that have any other useful tips, but it was very, very insightful. And I really appreciate every single person that has been here today and for your advice and your support and just listening in. I see there's Melusi from USAID, the USAID. I haven't seen him in a while. Thank you so much, guys, for joining in, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And with that, we do have to wrap up. You know, thank you, Kai, for sharing your mission with us and being so vulnerable with the challenges that you are facing. It's really important as an entrepreneur. And number two, thank you to the community. You know, this is exactly the type of community engagement that we look for in these video sessions. And I feel like we could have talked for 2 hours instead of 1. But thank you for all of your fantastic ideas and the positive energy that you really bring in this space. We have more of these video sessions every other week. We have an upcoming video session that talks about job and social impact. So, you know, I'll add you guys to our newsletter, and, you know, please do sign up for that upcoming video session. We have a social innovation competition where we provide funding to entrepreneurs around the world. So that's going to be launching on October 24th. So please do apply for that. And it's going to be a great way to get your ideas out there, meet our mentors, speak to our partners, really just build your business even more. And yeah, I also encourage everyone to just sign up on our website just to stay in our community as well. We have opportunities like this every single week. So number 1, thank you for your hearts. Number 2, thank you, Kai, for your amazing mind. And number 3, have a great, great week. Thank you, guys, and we will see you very soon. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cool, mate. Kai, thanks for inviting us. Cheers, guys.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you.
That's the main job.